The room was a hodgepodge of cultures, a tapestry woven from the threads of a dozen alien species. High-backed chairs designed for creatures with spines in unconventional places, a table that could extend or shrink based on the number of participants, and a translation system that ensured no one's insults went unmissed. Everything about the Galactic Council chamber screamed diplomacy in the most eclectic sense. Amid this chaos sat Earth's newest ambassador, Becky Thompson, a woman known as much for her sharp wit as her diplomatic acumen. Seated beside her was her aide, Lieutenant Jason Myers, who was already sweating profusely despite the room's climate control. "Do we really need to negotiate with the Pyrathi? Their representative looks like he could eat me for breakfast," he whispered, his eyes darting nervously towards the imposing figure of General Croth. General Croth, the Pyrathi's envoy, was indeed a sight to behold. Towering over most beings in the room, his chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the chamber's lights, and his mandibles clicked ominously whenever he spoke. Despite his fearsome appearance, Becky remained unfazed. She gave Jason a reassuring pat on the shoulder and leaned forward, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Relax, Jason. Remember, the Pyrathi respects strength and confidence. Just follow my lead." The meeting commenced with the usual formalities, each representative taking turns to introduce themselves and state their intentions. The Zanari, a species known for their logical prowess, proposed a new trade agreement, while the Thraxians, with their love for all things bureaucratic, suggested a minor amendment to the interstellar taxation policy. Finally, it was time for the humans to speak. Becky rose from her seat, her smile as warm as a supernova. "Thank you. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, Earth is honored to be part of these discussions. Today, we're here to negotiate a peace treaty with the Pyrathi." A low murmur ran through the chamber. The Pyrathi were notorious for their warlike nature, and many doubted the humans' ability to broker peace with them. General Croth's mandibles clicked, a sound that translated roughly to, "This should be amusing," Becky continued, unfazed by the skepticism. "We believe that our two species have much to gain from cooperation rather than conflict. To that end, we've prepared a proposal that we believe addresses the concerns of both parties." General Croth leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "And what, Ambassador Thompson, do you believe we, the Pyrathi, have to gain from such an agreement?" Becky's smile widened. "Well, General, let's start with the obvious. War is expensive. It drains resources, time, and lives. Peace, on the other hand, opens up opportunities for trade, cultural exchange, and technological advancements. For instance, Earth has developed a rather ingenious invention called pizza. Imagine the possibilities." The chamber erupted in laughter, a sound that was part genuine amusement and part nervousness. The Pyrathi were not known for their sense of humor, and many wondered how General Croth would react. To everyone's surprise, the general's mandibles clicked again, this time translating to, "Tell me more about this pizza." Becky seized the moment. "Pizza is a culinary masterpiece, General. A harmonious blend of bread, cheese, and various toppings, baked to perfection. It's a testament to human creativity and our ability to bring diverse elements together into something greater than the sum of its parts, much like this peace treaty." General Croth's eyes glimmered with curiosity. "Interesting. But you must offer more than food to convince the Pyrathi to lay down their arms." Becky nodded. "Of course. We also propose a technology exchange. Earth has made significant strides in renewable energy, medical advancements, and communication systems. We're willing to share these technologies in exchange for peace." The Thraxian representative, a being with a head full of tentacles, interjected, "And what guarantees do we have that the Pyrathi will not use these technologies against us?" Becky turned her attention to the Thraxian. "We propose a mutual oversight committee comprised of representatives from multiple species to monitor the use of exchanged technologies. This ensures transparency and builds trust." General Croth's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of deep thought. "Your proposal is intriguing, Ambassador Thompson, but the Pyrathi value strength above all else. How do we know that humans are worthy allies?" Becky's eyes sparkled. Ah, I was hoping you'd ask that, General. You see, humans have a unique approach to conflict resolution. We call it diplomacy with a twist. Jason, if you would. Jason, who had been nervously fidgeting in his seat, stood up and walked to the center of the room, carrying a small device. He placed it on the table and activated it, projecting a holographic image of a human boxing ring. This, esteemed council members, is a sport we call boxing, Becky explained. Two opponents face off in a ring, using a combination of strategy, strength, and skill to outmaneuver each other. It's a test of both physical prowess and mental acuity. The Zanari representative, ever the logical observer, raised an eyebrow. And how does this relate to your diplomatic strategy? Becky grinned. Simple. We propose a friendly match between our best fighter and the Pyrathi's champion. It's a demonstration of our strength, but also our respect for your culture's values. A symbolic gesture to show that we are equals, capable of both strength and cooperation. The chamber buzzed with excitement and disbelief. A boxing match as a diplomatic tactic was unheard of, but it was undeniably intriguing. General Croth's mandibles clicked once more, this time translating to, "You are bold, Ambassador. The Pyrathi accept your challenge. Our champion will face your best fighter in 3 days." The meeting adjourned with a mix of anticipation and curiosity. As the representatives filed out of the chamber, Jason turned to Becky, his face a mix of admiration and apprehension. "Are you sure about this, Becky? We're putting a lot on the line." Becky patted his shoulder reassuringly. "Trust me, Jason. Sometimes the best way to show strength is through a little creative thinking. And who knows, maybe we'll even introduce the Pyrathi to the joys of pizza while we're at it." 3 days later, the Galactic Council chamber had been transformed into an arena. A boxing ring stood in the center, surrounded by representatives from every species. The air was thick with anticipation as the Pyrathi champion, a hulking warrior named Gorath, entered the ring. His exoskeleton gleamed menacingly, and his mandibles clicked in a rhythm that spoke of confidence and intimidation. On the human side, a figure stepped forward, clad in sleek boxing gear. It was none other than Captain Jack the Hammer Harris, a renowned boxer and military officer. He climbed into the ring with a casual ease, his eyes scanning the crowd before settling on Gorath. The match began with the sound of a gong, and the two fighters circled each other warily. Gorath struck first, his massive fists swinging with the force of a freight train. Jack dodged with agility, his movements fluid and precise. The crowd watched in awe as the two combatants exchanged blows, each demonstrating their unique strengths. Despite Gorath's formidable power, Jack's strategy and speed kept him in the game. He danced around his opponent, landing quick jabs and evading Gorath's crushing strikes. The fight was a spectacle of skill and endurance, each round more intense than the last. By the 5th round, it was clear that the match was more than just a physical contest. It was a display of respect, resilience, and the potential for understanding between two vastly different species. The crowd, initially divided, began to cheer for both fighters, appreciating the artistry and determination on display. In the final round, Jack and Gorath faced each other, both visibly tired but undeterred. With a final surge of energy, Jack landed a decisive blow, knocking Gorath off balance. The Pyrathi warrior stumbled, but instead of falling, he steadied himself and raised a hand in acknowledgement. The gong sounded, signaling the end of the match. The crowd erupted in applause, a roar of approval that echoed through the chamber. Jack and Gorath stood in the center of the ring, both breathing heavily but united in a moment of mutual respect. Becky approached the ring, her smile radiant. "Ladies and gentlemen, today we've witnessed not just a match, but a testament to the strength and spirit of our species. Let this be the foundation upon which we build a lasting peace." General Croth, watching from the sidelines, nodded in agreement. His mandibles clicked in approval. "Ambassador Thompson, you have shown the Pyrathi that humans are worthy allies. We accept your proposal for peace and look forward to a future of cooperation." The chamber erupted in celebration, a mix of cheers and applause from all species present. Becky and Jason exchanged a relieved smile, their unconventional approach to diplomacy having paid off spectacularly. As the festivities continued, Becky turned to Jason, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Now, how about we introduce them to the wonders of pizza? Later that evening, the Galactic Council chamber was filled with the tantalizing aroma of freshly baked pizza. Representatives from every species gathered around, their curiosity piqued as they sampled slices of the human delicacy. Even General Croth, with his intimidating mandibles, managed to delicately nibble on a piece, his eyes widening in surprise at the burst of flavors. "This pizza is quite extraordinary," he admitted, his mandibles clicking in a way that translated to appreciative laughter. "Perhaps there is more we can learn from each other than we initially thought." Becky raised her slice in a toast. "To new beginnings, mutual respect, and the power of creative diplomacy." The representatives echoed her sentiment, raising their slices in a symbolic gesture of unity. The night was filled with laughter, shared stories, and the forging of new alliances. What had begun as a simple diplomatic meeting had transformed into a celebration of diversity and cooperation. As the evening drew to a close, Becky and Jason stood on the balcony, looking out at the stars. "You did good today, Becky," Jason said, his voice filled with admiration. Becky smiled, a sense of accomplishment washing over her. "We did good, Jason. Sometimes all it takes is a little creativity, a lot of heart, and a touch of humor to bridge even the widest gaps." Jason nodded, his nerves finally settled. "And pizza, definitely pizza." Becky laughed, the sound a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of space. "Yes, and pizza. Always pizza." And so, under the starlit sky, the seeds of a new era were planted, one where humans and aliens alike could come together not just as allies, but as friends.